manage conflicts? Now, before I get into that discussion, I'd like to reiterate the points I made last week when I made a video on how conflicts can help in the growth of the organization. I talked about the 3 prerequisites: the organization culture, maturity of individuals, and trust and relationship between people. All these 3 takes time, and therefore conflict management is a long-term game. We should not expect short-term returns. That's the reality. Once the prerequisites are in place, then yes, we can manage conflicts. And how do we do that? The process starts with what any good doctor will do. Let us say you've gone to the doctor with stomach pain. What will a good doctor do? The doctor will ask questions, will find out the symptoms, and then do a proper diagnosis, and then do the prescription. It is the same in conflicts. We have to get to the bottom of why that conflict arose. That is very important. Get to the why. I think this is a neglected area. People immediately jump to action, and that's where the problem happens. Imagine a doctor just hears that you have stomach pain and prescribes medication. Would you be happy about the doctor? It is the same here. We must get to the root of why this conflict is happening. If we can get to the root of why it is happening, and the how is pretty easy. And how do we get to the why? There are 2 parts to it. The first part is self-research. Do your own research on that subject. Find out what exactly is conflict about. What is that other person trying to say? Look up the internet, look up documents, think about it, and find out, okay, what is exactly the issue there? Why is this person behaving like that? Try to understand the other person's nature. This is the self-research part. And the second part is to talk to that person. Not to argue, but to understand their point of view. Ask the right questions. Get to the bottom of their viewpoint and why they are saying what they are saying. With these 2, we'll have a strong base. We will know the why. And when we know the why, as I said, how is pretty simple. If you know the why, act on those areas and you will get your solution. So I have no good news in terms of giving a framework or process for a solution. It will depend on the situation. But I'm convinced that if the why is clear, how is pretty easy. I would though still say there are 5 basic points to be kept in mind while working out the how. Point number 1. The solution must be a collaborative one. What is a collaborative solution? It's not about my viewpoint or the other person's viewpoint. It is the best viewpoint in terms of the organization. What is the best for the organization? That's the collaborative process. That's number 1. Second, it is very important to understand the other person. Each person have different styles of working, different communication styles, different nature. It is very important to understand each side well. Unless we do that, we will actually not be able to get to that why properly. If we know the why in terms of that person's versatility, which is understanding their nature, we just have to tweak ourselves to work according to that person's nature. That is all to it. So it's very important that we understand each other well. That's the second. The third one, adopt Aristotle's communication framework of logos, ethos, and pathos. use appropriate. Logos is about presenting with facts, logic, statistics. Ethos is talking with your credibility. Talk as subject matter experts. And pathos is understanding the feeling of the other person and making the other person understand your feelings and thought process. So use the three principles together to be able to put your point across well as to understand the other person's point of view. That's the third one. Fourth one, do not hesitate to consult bosses, friends, colleagues if you're not clear about what exactly is the issue and how it should be handled. There's no harm. Seek help. Collective mind is always better. You should seek help when necessary. Don't have any ego, pride about that. And the last one, the fifth one, there are some areas where it might need mediation. For example, legal clauses where there are disagreements. It's good to have mediation because in legal matters, that's not about what each person feels, it's the right interpretation of the law. So don't hesitate to go in for a mediation. Keeping these 5 points in mind, conflict management to the proper why and how is very much possible. I have seen that in my own career at different points. When I adopt this kind of a strategy, it leads to a good situation, a good management of the situation. Let me know what you think. What has been your experience? This is a very important area and I would love to exchange thoughts and views with others. This is Ashish Datta saying goodbye for now and I'll be back soon with another video. Thank you.